Hello everyone, and welcome to another snack video from Cortex. This video is going to be featuring the generic inquiry and how to use the add related tables feature for Acumatica 2020 R2. In this session, I will show you how to create a generic inquiry, how to find the fields on the screen that you're creating the generic inquiry from, and how to run that generic inquiry. Let's get started. The first thing you have to do before you create a generic inquiry is know where you're going to be pulling the information from. In our example today, we're going to be pulling that information from the bills and adjustment screen, so an AP bill. So let's take a look at that screen and determine what fields we're going to bring over to create a generic inquiry. On the bills and adjustment screen, you see that there's a top section that shows you the document type, vendor name, amount. And down below in the document detail, you'll see there's branch, extended costs, project IDs, and accounts. The easiest way to determine what these fields are called so you can add them to your generic inquiry would be to do what's called an inspect element. An inspect element is a security roles access that's given to a particular group of users or user. In this instance, you'd have to use the customization option, which gives you the ability to use the inspect element. So under customization, you see the inspect element option, which is you can either click here or on your keyboard, select Control plus Alt plus click on your mouse, which will give you a little question mark to the right of your cursor, which tells you that the system is now in inspect element mode. So we highlight the field that we're looking to bring up onto our generic inquiry and click on it. Another field would show up telling you what that field control type is. In this case, it's a drop down. But what you're really looking for this example is what's the name of the table that I need to add to my generic inquiry. In this example, that table is called the AP invoice. And the field name directly below it is doc type. For other fields that you may want to bring on board, again, inspect element, question mark to the right of your cursor, click on it, and you'll see the table is AP invoice, and the field name is vendor ID. For the lower section down here in the document detail, to find the same information, you click on the header above the actual field. For this example, we'll look at the project. You do the inspect element, as you see the question mark to the right, you click on the header where it says project, and there you'll see AP Tran, which is the table name, and the field name is project ID. So now back on our generic inquiry screen, we're going to give this generic inquiry a name. And for this example, we're just going to call it bills. Tab off. And to make it visible for end users, in case you want to see it on a menu item, you click this make visible on UI or user interface. And then this is where you can determine what workspace it would be in, what part of that workspace it would be in. This instance, we're going to leave the defaults and we save. Now there's nothing to view on this generic inquiry because nothing has been added as of yet. But we know we need to add the AP invoice and the AP Tran table. How do we go about doing that? Well, with the new addition of the add related tables that Acumatica did for the 2020 R2 edition, it's a lot simpler than it used to be. First, we'll select the table AP invoice, and on this field, no spaces, you can just type in AP invoice. Here's the field table that we're looking for. We'll select it and save. Once we save that, now we're going to find our AP Tran table. In the past, you would have to add it here, selected at the bottom and then create the relations between the two tables. That's no longer necessary. Now, since you've selected your primary table or your parent table, you'll add related tables. See, it shows your parent table up here. Then we're going to add the AP Tran table. Select related table. It shows you your join, which means it's going to do that for you. And then you click add. It's added the AP Tran table and it's also created your joins. AP invoice to AP Tran joined by these fields. For this example, we're going to sort by date. So the AP invoice dot date. Now we're going to add our fields to the generic inquiry. Your question may be, how do we know if anything's going to show up on our generic inquiry? On the side panel here, you can take a look, and if you ran it, you'd see that that generic inquiry would come up blank because we haven't put any fields on our result grid yet. So now we're going to put some fields there on our result grid. We're going to start here with our AP invoice table. We're going to add our dates, which we know is doc date. We're going to add our type. So it'll show us all of our different types, bills, debit adjustments, credit adjustments, and so forth. We're going to add our vendor. We know it's vendor ID based on our inspect element that we did before. And we're going to add our amount. Now, in this instance, you wonder, well, you typed an amount, but it didn't find it. The reason for that is the name of the field may not be amount. So we do an inspect element on that particular field that we're looking for, and we'll just do this one down here. And you see it's actually called Curry ORIG doc amount. So here, we'll put in Curry ORIG doc amount, and now it's found that field. Now we need to go down to the lower half of the screen, and we're going to add a few things: our extended cost, and our project, and our account. Extended cost, for example, is going to come across as Curry line amount under the AP Tran table. So we're going to look for Curry line amount, but we have to add our AP Tran table, no longer AP invoice. Curry line amount. And we're going to look for our projects. Now you see it kind of continues suit after you pick the previous one. So the project we know is project ID. So type in some of it, it'll find it for you. Select the one that you want. And account. Account ID. So now we've got some information on that screen. So now we're able to run our generic inquiry. Take a look at our side panel. You'll see our side panel is going to show us all of that information that we've added, sorted by doc date. If you wanted to reverse that and see the latest dates first, then we could very easily go back to our sorting and change that to descending. So now when we run the same thing again, we'll see our newest invoices or bills at the top of our list. That was a quick demonstration of how to create a generic inquiry in Acumatica 2020 R2. Thank you for taking a look at our snack videos, and I hope you have a wonderful day.